Hey guys, today I have a new deck profile for you. Today I have actually pure Time Thieves. This is one of my favorite archetypes. It's just so cool. It's not quite competitive, but you can do quite a bit of good stuff with it, and you can make it fairly competitive in the sense of it can compete with the top decks, but it's quite difficult to actually consistently get wins and top, although it's very possible still. In today's Yu-Gi-Oh, you never really know what's gonna happen. So I thought I'd bring you the deck profile that I have for the deck and show you how I think is best to play the pure variant of the deck to try and make it the most effective as you possibly can. So let's get right into it. So 3 copies of Winder, 3 copies of Regulator, and 3 copies of Adjuster. So these are probably the 3 most important ones in your deck. Let's start with Regulator. Regulator is your best normal summon. It tributes for cost a special 2 Time Thieves from the deck. It's really good. It is a little what's the word? It's a little fragile, the combo, because if this gets ashed and you have no way of protecting it, then you're kind of left with using up your normal summon and not having anything left over. So it can be a little risky, but we do play some cards to try and prevent that from happening. But so this summons from your deck. Winder is your searcher, so when it's summoned, you can search any Time Thief card from your deck. And it can also detach material from an XYZ monster you control to summon it, which is pretty good. And then Adjuster is the new one. Basically what it does is it summons itself to the field from your hand whenever you summon a Time Thief monster. And when it's summoned, it can, I think normal or special summoned, yeah. It can dump a Time Thief card from your deck to the grave. Unfortunately, you can't use both effects in the same turn, which would have made this, I think, so much better. I really wish they had done that. It seemed a bit needless for them to restrict it like that, because it is specific to Time Thieves, which kind of sucks, but still. Last 2 Time Thieves, we have 2 Bezel Ship and 1 Chrono Quarter. The Chrono Quarter is just good to have to search if you want to go into a combo, if you already have, for example, your counter trap or any other shenanigans. It's just good to have one in the deck. Special summons itself when a psychic. Actually, I think it's a when an when a face up XYZ monster you control leaves the field, it can special summon itself back from the grave. So very useful. And Time Thief Bezel Ship is slightly more important. It can detach a material from an XYZ monster you control to summon it back from the grave. Also, I should quickly note, Bezel Ship also has a DD Crow effect, DD Crow-like effects while on the field to attach to one of your Time Thief XYZs. So moving on, we have Parallel XE. I've just always really liked this card since the moment it came out, and I'm really excited for it to get its Prismatic Secret Rare in the next, in the 10s actually, but we're a rank 4 deck. We do a little bit of XYZ summoning, so playing this just makes another easy rank 4. So just kind of a no-brainer to have in the deck. And then we have 2 Raider's Wing. This is kind of similar to Bezel Ship and Winder in the same card. Detaches a material from an XYZ monster you control to summon it from the grave or the hand. I should note both the grave or the hand, so it can be used as a discard if you ever need a discard for something. I can't think of anything in this deck that we discard off of currently, so probably is only going to end up in the grave after using it from summoning from hand, but just a good level 4 extender. And any XYZ monster that has it as material can't be targeted. Then you have the Gamma package. So we play the 3 Gamma. This is what helps us protect our Regulator, which is pretty important. We really want that to go through. And also, just if we're going second, having Gamma is just a really high impact hand trap, because it not only negates a monster effect, but it destroys it too, so it can get stuff off the field. So very important card to play. Onto the spells. we play 3 Extravagance. We do play lots of same names in the extra deck, so we don't really mind too much about what we banish. Yeah, the draw 2 is just really useful for rogue decks. Having extra draws, I think, is probably one of the most important aspects to making the deck viable. So having two extra draws, well, two cards to draw at the start of your turn, I think is really, really helpful and important to make sure you get all the combo pieces necessary for this deck. Then I have 3 Book of Moon. I'm trying this out. This is actually a pretty good piece of interruption. It's quite. I don't know the best way to really describe it, but it's really high impact on a lot of matches. There's not really going to be any match where you don't have any use for this card. So it's high impact. It's really strong. I think it's just something I'm trying out though. So you could swap it out for like maybe another hand trap or some other stuff. But we play the 1 Startup and the 1 Called By again just to help our stuff go through. And the Startup, if what this does is it's a quick play spell that summons a Time Thief from our hand. So basically the reason we play this is if we open Winder plus another Time Thief that can't be summoned from our hand, or we can't summon 2, we'll use the Time Thief Winder's effect to search this and use it to summon the other Time Thief from our hand so we can get at least a rank 4 play going. So just to help consistency a little bit. And then onto the traps, we have 3 Shade Brigadine. This is just a really good card to play in Time Thief deck because what it is, it's basically a level 4 trap monster, and you can activate it the turn you set it if there's no traps in your grave. So Time Thief Redoer really benefits from having a trap as a material, so it's just a no-brainer kind of extender for the deck. Really good card to have. Then for the Time Thief traps, we have 2 Retrograde and 2 Flyback. Retrograde is your counter trap. It stops spells and traps. It does not stop monster effects, unfortunately, but the spell or trap that it does negate, it will attach to a Time Thief XYZ monster that you control. So it can take a spell or a trap as material, which can actually be really beneficial for your Time Thief monsters. And then Flyback, its flip effects, you know, if you're to set it, isn't great. It's just to attach a Time Thief card from your deck to a Time Thief XYZ monster you control, which is, I mean, okay, it's decent, but mainly what this is for is to have Perpetua attach this card to our Redoer, to give our Redoer our trap effect bounce. But also, if it's in the grave, you can banish it to DD Crow something from your opponent's grave and attach it to one of your XYZ monsters. So it's actually really good for this format. It's a bit, you know, people aren't expecting it. It's a bit sneaky, to be honest. So, and then just to give this deck a little more power, we have 3 Solemn Strike. Just add some extra, you know, danger to your back row. Monster negates are not something this deck is particularly heavy on. I think there's only 1 card in this deck that can do it, other than technically Gamma, but so having this just raises the power level of what we can set, and I think that's pretty important. And last is, you know, everyone's playing this. The ban list just came out and this didn't get hit, so might as well do it. It's a pretty powerful card, and after turn 1, we're not likely to be using many spells, so just a good card to keep in the deck. And onto the XYZs. Well, I should say the extra decks. It's not all XYZs, but we play 3 Redoer and 3 Perpetua. We play Extravagance, like I say, so we don't want it to banish all of these. So we play 3 of each. Redoer is just such a cool card, and it has its. I don't know if you can quite see it, but when the Prismatic Secret Rare came out in the last year's Megatens, I was really excited. And now that all the other Time Thieves got ultra rare upgrades and Ghosts from the Past, that's what really got me to get all these cards again and make the deck because it just looks a lot nicer now. But yeah, so Redoer has a flyback effect. It can spin any face-up card back to the top of the deck, and then Perpetua can attach Time Thief cards from your deck to XYZ materials you control, as well as special summoning Time Thief monsters during either standby phase. So, two of your most important cards. Then we play two of the double barrel. It's not as great, but sometimes, you know, you can get 3 XYZ monsters on your first turn. So having another card to go into is very important. And we also play the 1 giant hand, which is basically a monster negate by attaching 2 materials. So these kind of all fit the same kind of, I guess, the same utility for this deck. It's they all fit the same purpose. Just kind of depends on what you want to go with. Double barrel isn't as good as Redoer or even Perpetua, but it's still nice to have, and if you can utilize it, it's fun to play. At the very least, it's fun to play, and you can get some good use out of it. And then I have 1 Baguska. This should be a Zeus, but my Zeus is currently in my other deck. It's currently in my Shark deck, so just putting this in here just to fill up that gap. And I should be getting another Zeus from my Megatins that I'll be getting at the end of the month. So yeah, you can either play Baguska, which is a good rank 4, or you can play Zeus. Just, you know, whatever you think is going to be more effective. Then onto the links, we have 2 of the Bujin link. What this does is on summon, it special summons a monster with the same level from your grave and your hand out onto your field, and then you immediately XYZ summon with it. So that means you're going to get your Redoer before technically your 5th summon, because you have two level 4s. You go into this, which is your 3rd summon, and then before your opponent even has a chance to respond, it summons out the 2 monsters and then XYZ summons with them, and so it gets your Redoer onto the field, which can then dodge the Nibiru if it needs to. So it gets it onto the field before they can have a chance to respond to it. And it can also help if you have Parallel Exceed, then you can also trigger that by summoning it, which is another good reason we use it. 1 Psyframe Lord Omega, or not Omega, excuse me, Lambda. This card hasn't been reprinted for a while. Excuse the glare. Just another link too that we can use if we have an extra Gamma in our hand, and maybe Parallel Exceed. We can go into that. Another just good link 2 option. We play 1 Almirage if we open like Parallel Exceed, as well as just a single monster that we can't get to a rank 4 with. I could just normal summon it. Like if we just open Bezel Ship or something. Where is it? Bezel Ship. We can just normal the Bezel Ship, go into Almirage, and then trigger Parallel Exceed. So, and then the last card I play is Omega, just another card to use if you use your Psyframe Gamma. You can go into this. You can also go into your Lambda. Depends on what you want to do. But if you want to use it for this, then rip a card out of your opponent's hand, and that's an option we play there. So that's it for the deck profile I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'm thinking about maybe taking this to one of my next locals. I'm still deciding which decks I want to try, because I also have my Shark deck that I just really love playing, and I might just give that a go. But if that happens, I'll be sure to make sure I can get a match to upload to my channel as well. But in the meantime, hope you guys enjoy, and have a good rest of your day.